Hi guys, this is Lashette from Scarlet Moon Creations, and I am here to wrap up the last of the books I read in the month of October and give you my October reading stats. So, as always, we start with the stats. I read a total of 9 books in the month of October, 2,039 pages. So, not very high, but still kind of higher than most of the year, except for last month, and I think like April or something. But that's okay. That's okay. No hours listened, no audiobooks this time. My average rating was 4. I acquired 2 books. One of those was from Tor.com. The other, I bought the ebook. And I'll talk about that when I get to that book later. But I also took out a total of 8 library books this month, and I think I read basically that much, not those 8 that I took out, because they were all, for the most part, graphic novels or manga, but I had stuff out from previous months that I did finally get to. Bonus points though, 3 owned voices books, so I'm feeling really good about that. Okay, so let's talk about the subgenres. I read 1 dark romance, 2 paranormal romances, 1 divination, 1 superhero fantasy, 2 other. I realized that these books don't fit into categories, I guess, that I have here. 1 is Slice of Life. That was My Brother's Husband, which I talked about in the previous one, and I'll talk about the other one in a second. 1 dystopian and 1 epic high fantasy novel. So, for formats, I've read 8 ebooks and 1 physical book. For the audiences, I read 7 adult books and 1 young adult, and I didn't count the nonfiction book. That was Tarot Kaizen, the tarot book. For the identities, I just read 1 book with a genderqueer character. For racial identity, I read 1 book with Asian main characters, 1 book with Black main characters, 1 book with Latinx main characters, 3 books with a mix of characters, and 2 books with white main characters. As for sexual identity, I read 2 books with gay main characters. They have said explicitly that they were gay, so there was no ambiguity about it. This would also fall under, I think, Male Love Male as a more, but yeah. And I read 2 books with queer main characters, so there's that. The authors, I read 4 books with authors that were new to me. It's been quite a while. It's been quite a while, and I'm very happy about that. The other 5 books were by authors that were not new to me. And the types of books I read, let's see. I read one standalone book. That was the nonfiction. Everything else, all 8 other books were from series, and none were rereads. The forms of books I read 3 novels, 1 novella, 1 comic book, 2 manga, and 2 graphic novels. So, as you can see, participating in Get Graphic with it really changed how I was reading. Last but not least, my ratings. I read 1 5-star read, 2 4.5 star reads, 4 4-star reads, and 2 3-star reads. So I'm feeling pretty good about this reading month. It was a good one, despite me going on a trip halfway through the month and kind of before that being a little slumpy. But I enjoyed what I read, and I'm feeling good about the graphic novels and manga I picked up. So let's talk about the rest of the books I read. So after My Brother's Husband, I read, almost forgot I have a physical copy, Attack on Titan Volume 31. Yeah. So, last year I think I got up to Volume 30, and that's all the library had at the time. So now I'm back at it, continuing the story. This is an adult manga series, translated from Japan. There is an anime, and once I catch up to volume 33, I will go and watch season 4 finally, because season 4 part 2 is coming. So this is a very graphic, meaning violently graphic, manga and anime series. Sorry if there's like outside noise. Like, you guys know the drill now, but still, just in case, because it was quiet until a few minutes ago outside. Trying to put this in a box, I decided fantasy dystopian. We're following people who live in this place. They live kind of old-fashionedly. It has a medieval feel to it. And their towns are all behind these very, very tall walls. No one ever leaves the walls because there are these things called titans. And titans are these huge humanoid beings that seem to have no thoughts and no feelings, but are eternally hungry for human flesh. I shouldn't just say flesh. They eat people wholeheartedly. And the walls are basically the only thing keeping these people from not existing anymore. The story begins basically in volume 1, where the colossal titan shows up and kicks a hole through the outermost wall of these towns, thereby letting in all of the other titans. And we've got little Eren, Mikasa, and Armin, who are subsequently made into orphans and decide to join the Survey Corps, the part of the military that actually leaves the walls of the towns behind and goes out to survey the Titans. They're the only ones that have learned to kill Titans, even though Titans still outnumber human beings. And we learn a lot following these three, their commanders and the teams that they work with in the Survey Corps. The story has become so much more than that since then. Like I said, it's very graphic. There's a lot of death and a lot of hard choices. The emotions in this are unfathomable. Like, you feel for these people, even the bad guys. There are just hard choices after hard choices after hard choices. Like, honestly, all these people are traumatized. Every single person. And at this point, I just have to say, I kind of was concerned after volume 30, and I'm still holding out hope, but I don't like where the story is going, particularly as far as Eren is concerned. Like, I don't think it's bad. I don't think as far as the story that's been written so far goes, that it's so out of character. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I've been rooting for this boy since volume 1, and it hurts. It really hurts. Oh, I gave it 3. I gave it 3 stars because I don't love this. I read the e-version because this didn't come before I got on my flight, but since I did get a physical copy eventually, I'm holding it up. Less editing for Lashette. Next, I finished Saga Volume 5, and this is by Brian K. Vaughn, artwork by Fiona Staples, a very popular series. I've been reading it slowly because the graphic novel series is not complete, and they went on a hiatus 2 years ago, I think it was. And an announcement has recently come out, that's how you know how late I'm filming this, that they are coming back in 2022. So I was like, look, you guys tell me in the comments, particularly if you read space operas or sci-fi in general, like what would you classify Saga as? On Goodreads, everybody does all kinds of things. Alright, so after the sort of cliffhanger from the end of volume 4, we're here in volume 5. Everybody all separated. Not happening. Not happy at all. Saga, we're following basically these kind of star-crossed lovers. There's two planets basically have been fighting each other in wars for years, to the point where generations of their people, that's all they knew. And then I guess the wars expanded, and now various other planets and peoples and cultures have been sucked into this intergalactic war. Like I said, generations. And unfortunately, in this generation, we have 2 people from the original warring planets that come across each other in circumstances and fall in love. They fall in love, they run off together, and have a baby. But the second they run off together, they're kind of found out, and neither one of their worlds would like the leaders of their worlds, or even just the regular people of their worlds, are okay with the fact that they are together and that they've made a baby after decades of war, possibly longer, like I said, generations. No. So they're on the run. There are assassins after them. After the child, there are other people who have interests in for various reasons, whether it's debts owed or wanting to get their story to make money off of it, like the media. There's royalty involved. We hit all these different planets. We're following multiple storylines, and it's just amazing. I really love the art style. It's painted, which is different, I think, from everything else I've been reading, graphic novel wise. It might be digitally painted, but it definitely looks like hand painted. It's very colorful, which is, again, unlike most of the manga and graphic novels I read. I've learned, and I've said this before, that I don't love when the cast of characters gets too big, but I feel like this started out with a large cast of characters and we kind of switch off. I'm feeling a bit lost with each volume. I'm like, wait, who is that again? Like, I recognize them visually, but I don't remember why. So I think at some point I'll reread all of them closer together. But this volume, things started out like bad, because that's how they ended with volume 4. And then we seem to get good, and then at the very end it's like, nope, hope is snatched from my grip again, and I So, because of all of that, I gave this 5 stars. Saga be sending me through an emotional roller coaster with every volume. I don't know why I am picturing that. This is an adult series, FYI. I haven't mentioned this in the past, but there is a lot of nudity in this. Not a lot, but nudity at least once or twice with each issue or each volume, and they're not always human. So you get some really alien genitalia, which can possibly be off-putting for people. This particular volume, there's one scene I was just like, I was not expecting that. Wow. So I'm not put off by it, but I definitely did a double take. But luckily this wasn't happening to me in real life like it was for the characters, so I'm better off, right? Subgenre I put as other because I'm not sure. Help me out, guys. Next up, I finally finished Wolf Gone Wild. This is book 1 in Juliette Cross's Stay a Spell series. I've been wanting to try this for a while. I've seen the covers on Kindle and was like, oh. But the thing is, I tried to read this for the Paranormal Romance readathon. Obviously, I did not finish it in time, and my brain wasn't really with it because, like I said, I was on a trip and we were doing things. I was into the people and the activities. So the graphic novels were good because they're short and, my attention span didn't need to be on them for extended periods of time. Whereas with this, not so great. But I had bought it and started it on the plane because none of my graphic novels are downloaded to my tablet. And, I already have this. So I said, let's begin it. And even once I came back from my trip, I just wasn't in the mood for it. I think it was too light. So couldn't keep my attention on it. But I finally finished it. I do want to keep and trying and do the next book. Hopefully in the right mood, so I'll enjoy it. We're following a werewolf and a witch. It's set in New Orleans, and our male main character, Mateo, is a werewolf and a sculpture artist, and basically he goes to the local witches' coven to get a hex removed from him because Mateo's having a hard time controlling his wolf. So he's like, clearly I'm hexed. Let me go find out who of the local witches can help me. Our female main character is Evie, and her specialty is hex breaking of her and her sisters who are in a coven. And I'm trying to figure out the whole coven thing, because none of them look alike. Like, completely different hair types and eye colors, except for, like, the twins. But they call each other sister, and I thought maybe that was just like, oh, like, that's my sister witch, or whatever. But then, like, the mother calls, and they're like, Mom, and I'm like, are they actually sisters? And they all came out. I don't understand how that works. I don't. They're trying to figure out who hexed him, and he's just like, I have no idea. And he and Evie fall in love. Evie's like kind of bubbly, a little bit of a dork, or what would you call a nerd. She's into comic books and art herself. So this is, I guess, it could be an urban fantasy as well, but the romance is very heavy, so paranormal romance is what I'm saying. They're in a world where werewolves, witches, vampires, and I forget what the other thing is. There's something else. All exist, and some humans are aware, but not many, I don't think. We didn't really delve into the humans part. The witches, at least in North America, Evie's coven are the leaders, and her older sister is the leader of her coven. And the groups don't really mix too much. Like, there's politics, they're all aware of each other and whatnot, but they kind of stay to themselves. Whoever the most powerful group is in that city or town or whatever is the one who is the leader or ruler, and in this case, New Orleans, it's the witches. God, I can't talk. So it was cute. I felt like I didn't feel the chemistry in the beginning between Evie and Mateo, and that's okay. There's a little bit of forced proximity, but not really. I'm not sure how I felt about the reveal of the bad guy, like who hexed him or whatever. I don't feel like enough groundwork was laid for that to be believable. I feel like the author spent more time pointing out, oh, this person might be it, or that person might be it. But, yeah. And then, yeah. Paranormal romance. We spent more time on their feelings and their whatever. And that was fine. They were cute. By the end, I was like, okay. But I just wasn't really in this book. Like, I wasn't grounded and paying attention enough to it, particularly through the first half. So it could just be me. I do feel like there's more chemistry between the older sister and the leader of the vampires, and I'm here for that. And maybe Mateo's cousin and one of the other sisters. So I know those are going to happen, but neither one is the next book, so that's okay. I did read an excerpt of the next book, and I'm like, I'm interested. It looks like this is going to be multicultural. So Mateo is obviously of Hispanic lineage. The next guy seems to be a Bollywood actor, so from India, most likely, or one of the surrounding countries, but we'll see. So moving on, the last book I finished in the month of October was White Sand by Brandon Sanderson. This is a graphic novel series set in the overall Cosmere, so me attempting to finish every Cosmere written. The artwork is by Rick Hoskin and Julius Gopez. So, first graphic novel by Brandon Sanderson. Artwork is pretty cool. I read this, an ebook version of this. And this is an epic high fantasy series. No surprise because it's Brandon Sanderson. And I think it's like sand magic is the magic system. Basically, during a kind of graduation ceremony, every year I guess there's like this kind of challenge that Sandmasters do of various levels, and there is Kenton, who is the son of the Lord Sandmaster, like the big hoo-bah, whatever guy, who from childhood we knew did not really have much magical abilities, but just a little spark, and that hasn't changed now that he's older. But he tries out for this very difficult challenge and makes it through with some surprises. The surprise is not really being that he makes it through, but his father doesn't really want to acknowledge him. Not that that's like his abilities. So they're arguing. There's like a ceremony that where each Sandmaster either levels up or not, and in the middle of this ceremony, the Sandmasters are attacked. They're attacked by these group of people who really, really hate Sandmasters. They don't trust their magic. They think it's like taboo or whatever. It's against the gods or something like that. So they attack them for the first time ever, because usually, even though they hate Sandmasters, they're very scared of them, but somehow they got the gumption, and there go all the Sandmasters, except for Kenton. On the other hand, there are these people from, I think another planet nearby, from a dark planet. So there's two planets, like a day side and a dark side or whatever, and the people on the day side have like lighter skin, and the people on the dark side have dark skin, and my brain is really, really working hard trying to understand that, because that's not how it works here on planet Earth, right? So anyway, point of note, Kenton is kind of in the middle. So there's that. But anyway, they are trying to find the Sandmasters, and they come across Kenton, you know, kind of dying in the middle of the desert, and save him, not knowing that he is a Sandmaster. So they are following this Duchess. She's one of their group, and her husband or betrothed had come to the Dayside planet looking for something, and then died out there. So she's trying to find out what he was looking for, and she knows it has something to do with the Sandmasters. So, but Kenton doesn't say that he is a Sandmaster for various reasons. But the story goes from there. It's very interesting. I was sucked in like immediately. Like I said, the artwork is really great. And I'm interested in more. I don't know if this is a complete series, but I know there are 3 volumes out, so I'm going to read those for the rest of this year and catch up on all of the published works in the Cosmere. I gave this 4 stars. So it was a good ending for the month, because that Will Gone Wild only got 3 stars. But it could be me. It could be me. So those are all the books I read in the month of October, and my stats. How was your reading in October? What was your favorite book in the latter half of the month, if you didn't tell me? If you told me your favorite book in the first half of the month, but what was your favorite book overall? If you didn't see my last video, and comment there. If you would like to support me, don't really know what to comment, you can leave a little stack of books emoji to help me out. Like this video if you liked it. Again, that will help me with the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you are new, so you know when my next reading wrap up comes up. And in January, I do the whole like favorites, surprise, least favorites, disappointments videos, and I wrap up my whole year with stats and all of that, so you can look forward to those videos, as well as, of course, before that, my November recent reads and December recent reads. So all I have to say, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.